Bill Gates wants to build a smart city right here in Arizona.
What is that?
We are learning the potentially deadly infection on a cruise ship off West Africa.
Buckle up. I got an unmarked car parked outside as we speak for exposing this side of TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it.
Vatican run the world.
Figure this out. Most people don't digest this. They're the largest single stockholder in the world. They own the most property in the world that pays no taxes. Every school, every Catholic church. I mean, there's an organization a lot deeper than them called the Solidarity.
I'm not familiar with that.
Nobody
the Solidarity.
It's about 2,000-year-old club.
It's a club.
It's a club. And it's in the catacombs of the Vatican. You know, the Vatican's a city where it's in itself.
I know. I used to live right next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then you know.
I mean, I don't know like that.
Most people don't know what I'm telling you.
So they meet down there, you're saying?
There's a church where they are. They only meet there, period.
Right. Okay.
They're very high-level profile people throughout the world. You get invited to be in it. Who's running the world? I think they are.
Wow.
Right in our face, y'all.
Water is now being traded on the NASDAQ just like oil. Okay? It is. Look it up for yourself. It's not going to be free anymore. We already pay for it anyway when you pay a water bill. It's being traded on the Dow Jones, too. That's the stock market, you all.
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
For Secretary Hegseth, are there still concerns about mines in the strait? And can you kind of clarify these reports of kamikaze dolphins that we've heard about?
I haven't heard the kamikaze dolphin thing. It's like sharks with laser beams, right?
There are 52 cards in the deck, and there are 52 weeks in the year. There are 4 suits, and there are 4 seasons. Okay, there are 3 court cards within each suit, the Jack, Queen, and King. So there are 12 court cards in the entire deck. There are 12 months in the year. Within each suit, there are 13 values. That's Ace all the way through King. There are 13 lunar cycles. Okay, and the deck is divided neatly into red and black, and that's not night and day, but it's the first half of the year where we gain daylight and the second half of the year where we lose it. If you take the values of each card, where an ace is 1, and you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then Jack being 11, Queen 12, King 13, you add them all together through the whole deck, you get 364. If you add one joker, you get 365 for a full year. Second joker gives you leap year, 366.
Wow.
So when we're thinking about using cards and mind reading and mentalism, you see, I'm not here doing tricky shuffles. I'm not asking you to pick a card, any card, put it back. Is this it in your wallet? It ain't like that. I'm trying to connect with you as a human being because I can't think of any way to get to know you better than with an ancient and secret calendar that can be arranged more ways than there are atoms in the observable universe and can fit neatly inside a pocket.
That's crazy.
I also brought the Nikon P1000 out here to the giant door so that we can zoom in as close as we can with the Nikon P1000 to get you up to the microscopic microphotography level of the giant door, to let you view the eye hole, the little peephole that is in the center of the giant door, so that you can see what is actually made out of, so you can see all of the stones and the rocks up there in the giant door, so that you can zoom in into every crack and crevice. And if by chance it opens while we're viewing it with the Nikon P1000, then maybe, just maybe, we can really get a close-up of the giant in the giant door. Because we're going to zoom in with this. We're going to view every crack and crevice. We're going to go around. You can tell what kind of rock it is. You can tell if there's hinges on the door, if there's some type of sliding mechanism. You're going to be able to view everything you can with the Nikon P1000.
Never heard of this dude. What are Jack Nicholson?
Well, it's just this idea that because like the military, creator of Star Trek, all these people are trying to use the 9 to usher in some new world order, a new agenda, and the 9 are orchestrating everything. But I mean, we've seen, of course, there's Deep Space Nine, and you can say, okay, he was influenced by the Nine, and he called it Deep Space Nine, but there's no real like evidence that the Nine actually like did anything or really shaped anything or really changed anything. And what's odd to me is the fact that, you know, why is no one now channeling the Nine?
You believe in the ancient Greek gods like Thor and all of that, and Zeus and all of that?
When I went to where was your Sweden, and they that's just, they really believe in it, and it's for real with them.
And where did Zeus live? On Cassiopeia, a star.
Yeah.
Perfect alignment with the pyramid. All of those. I spoke to a guy who was Israeli Special Forces. He said that he seen fossilized remains of the Egyptian gods. And when you look at Psalm 82, it says God reigns on the council of other gods. And if you look out all through history, these gods could die. And anytime we rebelled, we got reset. Gilgamesh, we seen Hillary Clinton's emails filing FOIA requests to find the burial chamber for Gilgamesh. Why is she filing this? This is supposed to be folklore. But there's footage of them finding his tomb. This is one of the reasons why we invaded Iraq in the first place.
I guess they don't reuse the caskets, huh? They just disintegrate? That still doesn't explain how they never expand the cemeteries. Amazing what you can do with the hammer, huh? Simple $8 tool can do it all. Oh, that's in the wall. You know how we can find out if the funeral industry, not going to say it's a scam because it is a scam, but what they do with the caskets, if they reuse them, if they don't. Just like billionaires don't eat the same food we eat, we got to find out where the people that own the funeral homes, where do they bury their loved ones? Do they bury them in that funeral home, in that cemetery? Where do they bury theirs? Where do they go get their loved ones cremated? That's where we'll find out if they reuse, if there's even anybody underground. That's where we find out.
Cat to a vet, they call it euthanizing, and they do it right in front of you.
Somebody like you has a lot of balls to stand up and show that.
My father-in-law walked into a hospital and was with a hospital protocol they were unwilling to bend from. Kicked me out of the hospital with security, said they would no longer talk to somebody who wasn't blood related to the family or member or married to him. They ended up putting him over the next 3 days under a guise of what they call palliative care. The deception of that care is they tell you, and I told the whole family, that you let them kick me out of here and this is what's going to happen. They are going to pump him full of morphine, convincing you the morphine will help reduce his pain and suffering until he takes his last breath. That is the lie of palliative care. And I looked at them and I said, just so you know,
no amount of alcohol, I don't care what anybody says, is good for the brain. Alcohol is actually diminishing the white matter of the brain. So you know that you know how I told you about the axon, the tree trunk? That's coated in this myelin sheath, right? And if you have a look on imaging, it's called the white matter of the brain. The white matter of the brain is the myelinated neurons. It's the tree trunks of the brain. So when you drink alcohol, and this was actually done in a UK biobank study, when you drink alcohol, even as moderate drinkers, which is around 7 drinks a week, on neuroimaging, when they took photos of their brain with an MRI, they showed what we call white matter hyperintensitives. So in the white matter of the brain, they've got these deteriorated portions. You're also affecting the gray matter of the brain, which is the cerebral cortex, where the neuron cell bodies live. So alcohol is detrimental for the brain.
Yeah, there's no way that they would say, a glass of wine, red wine is good for your heart, it's just grapes, or a drink a day is okay. You can have a glass of whiskey once a night, no health problem. Like anything that alters your mind and when you wake up, you feel the way you feel if you drink too much of it is not good for you. There's no way. There's no way it's good for your mind.
At that time,
All you
Chandra
drinkers out there,
mentioned
don't kill
something
me.
that she knew about the UFOs.
Just my
that
opinion.
Congressman Condit was on the committee to learn about UFOs.
Well, he's on the Central Higher Intelligence Committee,
Yes.
and that she says, he believes in UFOs like I do, and that he deals with this stuff. So then it left me thinking, knowing Chandra, she's very inquisitive. Could she have known something that she wasn't supposed to know? And
Yes.
could she have been wiped out because she knew too much?
We are learning the potentially deadly infection on a cruise ship off West Africa can be spread from person to person. The last 3 passengers thought to have the strain of hantavirus were evacuated overnight. We're also told another person who left the ship days ago is being treated for the virus in Switzerland.
The 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms possibly linked to the deadly hantavirus were evacuated by boat from the MV Hondius. Video shows them being ferried from the moored cruise ship off the coast of Cape Verde to the shore. The Spanish government says the ship, with nearly 150 passengers on board, will sail to the Canary Islands for a full disinfection. That journey is expected to last 3 to 4 days. A statement from Spain's health ministry says medical teams from the islands will examine and treat passengers and crew before sending them back to their home countries. This comes after 2 confirmed cases and 5 suspected cases of the rare hantavirus were reported on the ship. Of those, 3 people have died and 1 person is in critical condition. Meanwhile, some passengers who are still on board have shared that they feel they're being well taken care of while quarantined. Jordanian-Palestinian travel influencer Qasim Ebn Hattuda shared his view on board the ship with his millions of followers on social media.
اللي أمامنا هناك دولة كيب فيردي الرأس الأخضر ولكن ممنوع ننزل عليها.
In a statement to CBS News, he said, quote, "Our days have been close to normal, just waiting for authorities to find a solution. But morale on the ship is high, and we're keeping ourselves busy with reading, watching movies, having hot drinks, and that kind of things."
I just did a quick little Google search of where the hantavirus originated from. Argentina. Do y'all understand what is about to happen in less than 100 days? The FIFA World Cup. Argentina, their home base is going to be in Kansas City. I can't do this again. I cannot do this again. Y'all gotta cancel some shit. Or they can't come. I don't know. We can't do this again. We can't do this again. We can't do this again.
I think I'd be like, hey, where's my hazmat suit? The hell? Y'all got hazmat suits, gloves. Where's mine at before I get on that damn boat? It's crazy, y'all. It's like the end of the world movie. People picking her up in hazmat suits. That's scary.
One of the caves.
So this is one of these caves in China. By the way, no record, no historical record of when it was created or who created it.
They put up, wow.
And this is another one that they found. In 1992, they found it. 4 farmers in Longyu found the caves, and they drained the water from 5 small ponds in their village. The ponds turned out to be 5 large man-made caverns. Further investigation revealed 19 more caverns nearby. They've been determined to be more than 2,000 years old, and their construction is not recorded in any historical documents. Like, look how crazy. Please show some of those images.
Yeah, it's the only one on this page.
It's fucking bananas. So they're just guessing that it's 2,000 years old. They don't know.
Right. They're just like,
because there's no record. There's no record of it. But it's bananas.
So
and they've also, those carvings they think are post.
Later people.
Yeah.
Came in.
Post-discovery.
Yeah. That's their way of doing.
Yeah. Because you see how like those lines on the walls, that's how everything looks. It's just those carved straight lines, and it looks like the other stuff was like more modern that they
You think
carved
those
it in.
lines are so that the erosion wouldn't hurt it as much?
I don't know. I mean, that might have been
Just
how they
watered
did
down.
it. They might have had some sort of a device that they carved the stone out with. But the thing is, it's like these are.
Where's this on a map? Show me where Longview is on a map.
Yep.
I want to visit a lot of.
I've been investigating these data centers, and I asked ChatGPT, well, how many data centers are actually going up? And it's thousands.
Yeah. They say there's a water shortage. Do they care? Does it look like they care there's a water shortage? Why are they making us care and quit watering our lawns?
It's like
Watering our plants.
2,700 new data centers are going up. Do you really think they need that many facilities to train AI for artificial intelligence? Guys, it is 2026. The computing power, look what's in your hand. Do you really think they need huge facilities for that? I've told you, if you've seen my other videos, a lot of my videos have already been taken down. It's not all data centers, guys. It's for a government agency. They're spending trillions of dollars on these new facilities. What do you actually think they are?
We're spending
I need y'all to think.
trillions of dollars.
If the economy's going to collapse and everything's going to come to shit, what do you think they need? They need somewhere to put us. What happens when you can't feed your family? You need somewhere to go. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think like if that's the case, all these data centers in every city where they're gonna pop up, like they're gonna know everything. They're gonna know everything about it. They're gonna know our social. They're gonna know what we've been saying. If it hits the fan, we're going over here. Our underground bunker, like they're gonna know everything. They're gonna have all our information right there in our warehouse where we're living.
Shake hands with a Mason.
Ain't a
Sure.
damn
What
thing
you'll
we can do
see
about
is
it.
they put the thumb there on, that would be the third knuckle from the thumb. And whenever I've shaken somebody's hand that way as a Mason, it's almost like a jolt. They get it. Masons will always go in to make that handshake because it's innocuous enough to know that, well, if you're not a Mason, you're not going to respond, but it's also obvious to a Mason to know that if you are, he's trying to communicate to you. If you don't know them, he will say, so you're traveling. It means, are you a brother? Are you traveling? Are you a brother? Are you on your journey in Freemasonry with me? So you say, yes, I'm traveling. So the handshake plus the request, are you traveling? And the answer yes, then they know that that you're both of the same, you've got the same principles and you belong to the same lodge. And so, not the same lodge, but the same brotherhood. So The same brotherhood whose laws transcend all laws. That's one symbol. Now you also mentioned about the different signs that they give in public when they have to. So you mentioned something about asking for help in danger. Perhaps you can give us some of those. Well, there was a situation with another lawyer who was a Mason that appeared before a judge, and he gave him the sign of the entered apprentice degree. And the judge understood that he was a Mason and therefore gave a favorable ruling to his client.
You could look at the history of like these ancestry.coms and 23andMe's, and I'm sure it's strange, but because how else would you determine the bloodline without the DNA test?
And you shouldn't actually participate in any of those things.
Why?
Because a conspiracy theory, okay, I'll just throw this out there, okay, but a conspiracy theory is that they want certain bloodlines and they use these websites to find certain bloodlines.
So if you're in that bloodline,
bad things could happen to you. Why is there so much human trafficking in the United States? They care a lot about bloodlines, right?
I got an email right recently. They were gonna pay me a pretty good amount per video, but that was the company, and I was like, oh, if I do that, I'm going from I don't know, I got like 48,000, 45,000 subscribers. It's dropping. I could not come on here. It's like these are the type of companies that reach out to me. Why can't it be like, the online therapy type thing like that? You know what I mean? It's got to be, 23andMe reaching out to sponsor the channel. Like they're very hard, y'all. It's crazy. You guys would have been pissed.
Chair. It's almost
I wouldn't
remind me
do
of
that
like
to you guys.
a
If I don't
lecture
believe
hall
in it,
a
I won't do
college.
it.
And I was sitting next to this African-American chick from Brooklyn. Why do I know she's from Brooklyn? Because I sat down and I was like, yo, what up? And she was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what's going on? She was like, nothing, I'm chilling. I'm from Brooklyn and just kind of bugged down. I'm like, yeah, it's bugged down from the Bronx. That's crazy. Once again, we're not scared of where we are. We were just perfectly okay with being in this weird auditorium, talking to each other. And then as I'm starting to get to know this lady from Brooklyn, I look down, and on this platform in the front, there's a table. On top of this table, there's a black box. There's an archway in the right side of the room, and this being comes in. It walked very like it didn't have no bones. Imagine skin with no bones, translucent, with like crystally golden water inside of it, and a flicker of a flame for a head. And it gestures like this with his hand to the box that's on the table. The box opens up from the top, and a hologram of the earth pops up. And it starts spinning slowly. And then a little meteorite comes and hits the earth, and the whole earth explodes in this hologram. And I hear in my mind, and not in my own voice, in another voice that sounded almost robotic in a way, a little robot like when this happens, you will all have a job to do. Like it said that. And then flash, and I'm in the middle of this field with a whole bunch of other people, and we got our hands up like this, and there's this light coming fast towards Earth, and it just explodes in the middle of the sky, and it starts to look like little fireworks trickling down. And then I blink, and I'm back in the driveway, and this UFO is just slowly flying away.
Bill Gates wants to build a smart city right here in Arizona, and if it actually happens, it could change how we build cities forever. It's designed to house 180,000 people, and it's kind of like Bill tried to turn a Jetsons episode into a real place. We're talking smart roads, solar power, autonomous cars, and tech at every corner. But there's still no timeline for when it'll actually be built. So here's what's happening. The 25,000 acres is located about 40 to 50 miles west of Phoenix between Buckeye and Tonopah, and was bought with his investment firm, Cascade Investment, back in 2017. So here's the plan. A brand new...
I remember when this first came out, maybe last year. I reacted to this a long time ago when I was first doing these. And I remember all the comments were saying, like, something's going to happen to Buckeye. Something's going to happen. Something's happening.
City called Belmont, built from scratch to include 80,000 homes, 3,800 acres of commercial and retail space, and a population comparable to Tempe, around 180,000 people. It's designed for high-speed internet, autonomous vehicles, renewable energy, smart infrastructure, and even tech-powered schools and healthcare. It's also worth saying this often gets confused with the Terra Vallis community in Buckeye, but they are two entirely separate projects, different developers, different vision, and different timelines. Now, Arizona was chosen for a reason. It's known for being tech-friendly, especially with self-driving cars and solar innovation. Plus, with Phoenix growing so fast, the city could become a go-to place for companies, innovators, and people looking to live in a place designed for the future. But despite all the hype, there's been no real timeline announced. And so far, most of the land is still untouched.
The Arizona, y'all, it's the new LA kind of, right? It's like the celebrities are out there now. We're ever since we started hosting Super Bowls at that new stadium, y'all. Arizona just got a new spotlight on it. Like I was saying, my hometown Goodyear, we used to never get the new spots. We never used to get the Buc-ee's, the Shake Shacks, the those type of like places. Those used to go in the fancy areas like Scottsdale, Gilbert. Now that's all coming to Goodyear, y'all. Now they're getting all those things, and I trip out because back in the day we'd be lucky if we got like a McDonald's or something, right? We'd get nothing but the basic things. Now they're getting Dave's Hot Chicken, all these famous grocery stores, and it's just a trip to see my hometown, which is close to Buckeye.
Their biggest hurdle?
Look what's going on over there.
To move forward, Belmont needs to prove it has enough water to support future residents for at least 100 years. It's a requirement for large-scale development across Arizona. Some say we're in a water crisis, others say we have plenty, but either way, the question of water will play a huge role in whether or not Belmont stays a concept or becomes reality. What do you think? Is Belmont and smart cities the future, or just a billionaire's experiment in the desert? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'm Brad Armstrong, a local realtor, and I stay on top of what's happening around the valley so you don't miss a thing. So follow for more updates just like this.
Who's Buckeye? Between Buckeye and Tonopah right here. Burning to the ground. Nothing really there. But that's where they're going to build this smart city. It's like they have to, this is their way of getting rid of the vegetation. And it's going out, it's like 11,000 acres now, about 10% contained. Close to homes.
Oh my God, I just looked this up. This video is not to scare anybody, but also, not only did I look up the facts about this rare form of hantavirus, but also I looked up the whole entire timeline of the ship. Listen to this. So there is a particular strain of hantavirus that is rare, that is spread person to person, and it is often found in Chile and Argentina. This ship was from Argentina. That's where everybody got on the boat March 20th. It was part of a 35-day Southern Atlantic excursion. They passed through Antarctica. They passed through, is it called South St. George Island or something like that, Georgia Island, other small islands in the Southern Atlantic. Yes, people got off the boat to do excursions and stuff like that. Then on April 11th, a 70-year-old man got really sick and died. Doctors on board did not know that he had the hantavirus when he died. So then, April 12th through the 20th, the ship docks at St. Helena, which is like a very remote British island, and they take the body of this 70-year-old man off, and also his wife. She gets hospitalized in Johannesburg, South Africa, because she is now sick. They still do not know at this point that it's the hantavirus, right? Shortly after the wife's arrival in Johannesburg at the hospital, she dies. Then, on April 27th, the ship docks at Ascension Island. Mind you, nobody knows that there's the hantavirus on this ship at this point. But they have a second person who is very sick, so they get that person off the ship at Ascension Island. That person winds up dying in the hospital there, and that is the first lab confirmed positive test that it is hantavirus. This person died from hantavirus. And all the while, people have been allowed off the ship to do excursions, except for right now. They're not allowed off at Cape Verde, but they got off at Ascension Island, they got off at St. Helena, some of the others that they stopped at that aren't as populated, but it sounds like it's human to human transmission. I know that everyone's saying but there's this, look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look up what I just...
No, it's so crazy. Like, I never grew up like flying. I barely flew for the first time like in 2015, 2016. I barely flew for the second time recently, right? But when you're in that airport, you can just see like people are going all over the world all day, every day. It would be so easy for it to just spread and take off like wildfire, right? Because it's just airports are packed 24/7. People are going, touching doors, touching handles, touching everything. It is just a melting pot at airports. It's really crazy to see every type of culture you can think of is in that airport in your city.
When I was in Africa, bro, I seen, they had a donkey that was dying. They went and found a girl who was a virgin. They told her, jump over the donkey 3 times, and the donkey would come back to life. I got a video. She jumped over the donkey 3 times, and the donkey stood back up.
He never shows the videos.
What is that about?
Never shows the videos.
What the fuck? They believe this. They don't want us to believe in it because they worship it. All demons are intersex.
Did you, when you were in Africa, did you hear anything about like the hyenas?
I see the niggas who they bring the hyenas to the market and perform with them.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Yeah, because hyenas is like more similar to cats than anything. Hyenas have the highest rate of eating their own young. So that's why they're able to capture so many of them and raise them up.
Also, I forgot to mention in my previous video, that while I've been digging into these data centers and trying to figure out what they really are, I've also found out that Walmart can be converted quickly into a government facility. A lot of their stuff is not bolted down. It can be turned just like that. There's no windows, there's no exits, but one way in and one way out.
Yeah, there's only a couple exits at
And of
Walmart.
course the back, but obviously heavily guarded. There's a bunch of big corporation facilities, Walmart's, Lowe's, that can be quickly turned into a different facility. I know some of you conspiracy theorists, you know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to tell you what they are because either TikTok takes it down or somebody reports me a bunch of bots. They don't want you to know the truth. Good luck with your data centers.
They always say Walmarts and all that, but do these people realize they already do that? They already turn these places into camps, right? When there's a natural disaster, they change the local high school. That's the shelter. Camp, right? You're there. If you can't live out there, if it's too dangerous, you gotta come over here. We'll feed you, we'll give you water. I'm sure I don't know if you can come and go, I don't know. Or when Hurricane Katrina, they turned the Superdome where the Saints play into a camp, y'all. There was none but cots, remember? Cots all on the field. All these cots, right? High schools, just places like that, they change into camps when it hits the fan. So if it really, really hits the fan, they're going to turn these Walmarts, these Home Depots, these large warehouses into camps, right? Data centers. If it's really going to hit the fan, and then they got all our information. They have it all.
So the moral of the story is, if you got a bunch of Walmarts in your town, you probably don't need a data center.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, this is crazy. No cover or nothing. Didn't even put the cover down. They got it up there.
Hey, yo.
By a meat
What the
market.
fuck is that?
Where humans are going with AI. I mean, I guess, I don't know if I'm old fashioned or maybe it's because I'm 56 now, but I think this whole AI thing, and I don't mean for medicine, it's got a lot of great things. Otherwise, though, I think it's another, like, in the biblical term, of biting the apple again.
Mm-hmm.
I just am very afraid of it.
Yeah.
Not even for show business. I'm not even talking. I'm just saying in general, I don't trust it at all. And especially the dudes that are designing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a real problem. Yeah. Because these dudes.
What our best interest.
How do I say it? They have math minds.
Suck.
They have math minds. You know what I mean? They have math minds, and that's good. But there's very little wisdom coming out of that pocket of the world. Almost none.
Yeah.
And we're
like, I don't want to be rude, right? If you were one of these, but the ones that are creating this stuff are the ones that like didn't fit in. They were the ones we all had them at our schools or whatever, right? They turned out to be geniuses, millionaires, right? Bosses, right? But they were the ones that they just didn't like people. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Those ones over there, they get the stereotype of, bang, bang at the school, whatever, right? But that's very rare. That's a rare thing. Like, that happens 1 in a million. But those ones, they are the ones that just, I don't like people. They treated me bad growing up. They just got this, I don't want to say hatred for people, but they just don't like people. They just didn't fit in, right? People you didn't fit in with, the jocks, right? They're assholes. I can't stand the jocks. I hate them, right? Like, I didn't fit in either, but not to that extent. Like, those ones that were over there that, I don't know, y'all. Those ones. They just don't like people. And those are the majority of the ones that are creating this AI stuff.
All of us are running in that direction.
Try not to be rude.
The media loves AI. The media loves social media because it causes more of this.
Yeah.
I love when CNN, they'll have a reporter on they'll do a report on social media and how bad it is for someone. And then after the report, Jake Tapper gets on and go, follow me on Twitter. It's asinine. Have you no self-reflection? Well, even how we communicate through text,
there's not a sarcastic font, right?
Right.
And people are not good enough writers to do it through
Right.
text. As a comedian, to get back LOL is really diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So I think the way we have let robots do this for us has also made us a little bit off.
Yeah.
I just do. I worry about the lack of human connection with that stuff. And maybe it just is not as needed as we think it
real
is.
quick,
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But this world, this tech stuff, I've always thought about, I've always worried about it, especially when social media came about and MySpace and all this, when it was done, you could do it anonymously.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird start for anything. So the weirdos running this thing, and good weirdos, I don't mean they're all bad weirdos. We need to, there needs to be a guardrail. And I think politically, nothing changes in the States until they regulate the internet.
Yeah. I do think
so we can sit here and talk. Good luck. It can work for both sides.
Right.
It just depends on who's going to control it, the messaging. But I see how people scroll on planes. I'm like, that's how people get their news. We're screwed.
I don't know what the fuck they putting in these damn Venom energy drinks, bro. This shit bleached the motherfucking concrete, dog.
We all know what the trumpet represents. And notice how she is the middle being. And there are several other beings that are attached to her. And in her look, all of these entities had things over their eyes like they were blinded. Like there was something guiding them, but they were not able to see clearly. Now, the voice was coming from in the midst of what looks to me like a web, okay? This could stand for manipulation control. I saw an octopus, which usually spiritually represents mind control, manipulation, and divination. Now, in front on this painting, where we see a pig laying before this pure being that has the 3 heads, which could represent Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the ultimate being of purity. Now, in front of it, we see this pig, which represents overindulgence. And then on the other side of it, we see this entity that looks like it's holding a 666 symbol, and it's stirring a cauldron, which we all know represents witchcraft, divination, confusion for the masses. So all of these things are surrounding this pure entity. There's trees that are dead. There's trees that are alive. There's water being poured. In the other side, we see sheep eating freely. But then there is just so much chaos, confusion, control, manipulation, no grounding all around this entity, this white pure entity. And the outfit that Madonna chose to be was this entity representing what looked to me like a spider web or an octopus, the 7 deadly sins. And she was the entity in the middle feeding all of these things. There was no grounding like there was with the divine entity that could represent God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Notice the feet go down to the ground. There's grounding, there's peace. But in all of these things surrounding that, there's chaos, manipulation, control, many voices speaking leading into blindness. Now, this blew my mind. What do you guys think about this? Put it in the comments below.
Do you understand that if enough trauma happens on any level of the being, you can't just get over it any more than you can when you get in a high-speed car crash? Like, do you see how cruel that would be? If somebody got in a high-speed car crash at 70 miles an hour and they're like broken, and I walk up to them on the street, I'm like, just get over it. You see, we understand the cruelty on a physical level. Where is our understanding of the cruelty of that on an emotional level? It's not possible.
It's so incredible. This thing hasn't moved since World War II, except for the part where the city let it burn down. That's the only movement on this telephone pole since World War II is the city not managing the forest. That's LA, baby.
He hates LA, huh?
You were Puffy's
Leave,
blood
bro.
boy from 2004 to 2014. Don't think I'm stupid, but what's a blood boy? So when somebody parties too hard or isn't living right, they want a fresh blood in their system, right? I didn't drink, smoke weed, I didn't eat pork, none of that.
Diddy saw me and he was like, yo,
And
I
he-
got a
and-
job for you. He was like, I want that blood. And I was like, whoa. And he drops 10 grand on the table.
10 large.
Yeah. He said, I want a pint of your blood right now.
So that was a one-off, or you saw you?
No, that was the beginning. I'm a universal donor. He thought I was special. He called me his lucky little blood boy. Every like 3 months, he would fly me down to Miami. And this was the crazy part. He never actually wanted to do it on land. It wasn't legal at that time.
Yeah.
So we would get on a boat and he would take us to what he would call Oconus, outside of the continental United
US,
States.
yeah.
And on his yacht, he would just drain blood. And he would just drain me, dude. Look at him from 2004 to 2014 and tell me if he ate.
Yeah, facts. He's aging now that he's in prison. He's not all of a sudden Father Time
Caught up with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For 9 years, the majority of Puffy was made up with my blood. With my blood.
So now you're telling me they found this statue in Mexico, and at first I didn't believe it either. But then I saw the picture of it actually being found. I'm like, wait, hold on. This looks oddly familiar. When I saw this, I immediately thought of this. And y'all know the history behind this, y'all. Y'all know the history. If you don't, let's talk about it. So I am not a believer that the Anunnaki created the world or the Tartarians, any of that. I think that the fallen angels came down and procreated with mortal women. The fallen angels being the aliens that everybody's talking about. Literally says in the book of Enoch that people will sacrifice to demons as gods, and these demons will masquerade themselves as gods across the centuries. I keep telling you guys, I'm gonna bring it back. The Egyptian gods, the Roman gods, the Greek gods, all the other gods are just fallen angels taking different forms over the centuries, guys. When people are finding these things, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's aliens, it's aliens. No, y'all, those are fallen angels. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. I will stand on that 10 toes down. And I feel like in the music industry, the reason why they push that stuff so bad is because they themselves worship fallen angels. Like, it's all in plain sight, guys. It's been here. So finding these artifacts, it's really not surprising to me. And what are the chances that a woman would be doing that with the alien? What are the chances? I don't know. It's giving in plain sight to me. Like, you guys tell me what you think. As always, make sure you like and follow. Comment down below if you want a part 2.
There were 30 levels of top secret above the president. On his deathbed, this former person affiliated with the 3-letter organizations has his testimony that Eisenhower wanted to invade Area 51, and it was out of their jurisdiction to even monitor what was going on. They completely took over everything connected to alien technology, and they kept the president out.
The saying is, symbolism will be their downfall, right? And it's like, let's just say since the year 2000, when they say the world ended, or it was going to end, slowly but slowly, more and more and more, they're falling apart, y'all. Like, look at all these videos we just watched. We just watched 36 minutes worth of clips, all pretty much exposing the elite secrets, exposing the elite, exposing the demonic energy in that. And it's like the masses haven't woke up yet, and they're doing everything they can to keep the masses asleep. Because we're not the masses here that are watching these videos on YouTube that don't watch mainstream media. Those are the masses. The day those people become like us and see everything for what it really is, that's when they're going to hit the eject button. That's when they're going to flood, burn the earth down. That's when they're going to go in their bunkers underground. They're going to become the Ant-Man in another, 10,000 years. And they're going to start all over with the idiot caveman. Right? That's the game plan, I think.
Rule is somebody touches me, I'm out.
Yeah, okay, yeah. As long as you don't touch me.
I heard somebody say George in this ear. And when it does happen, I say it out loud. I said, somebody just said George in this ear. And it's an old house. So when you walk on the floor, you walk the stairs, somebody's trying to sleep, you hear, and I said, who's that? And then you hear like a half a step. And I'm like, is somebody walking around in my bedroom?
It's the drugs.
The door to the bathroom downstairs is never locked, and then it locked, and then it unlocked.
Yeah, and you live alone.
Oh no!
So you know you locking.
Not
Yeah,
that
man.
alone.
Yeah. You are not alone. The ghost is here with you.
I used to like George, man. It's a damn shame.
these people be putting this stuff right in our face. Maybe
Exposing,
I'm the one
exposing,
tripping. When I see
exposing.
this type of stuff, I don't see it how everybody else see it. You know, I see it from a different perspective. I see it through a different lens. Look at Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. When I was looking at Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, the first thing that caught my attention off the rip was A$AP Rocky looked like he was holding an apple. I don't know why that caught my attention first. But after I'm looking
Symbolism.
at all this other stuff, what are these people wearing? Then Rihanna popped up again. And I was looking at Rihanna and I was like, what about this like seems off? And I'm looking at what she's wearing and it immediately looked like a tree to me. And when I looked at her and I seen that what she was wearing looked like a tree, I remembered that A$AP Rocky was holding an apple in his hand on the side of that tree. And y'all remember the movie Pocahontas, right? Where they had that tree and the tree was talking. Outer part of Rihanna's dress looks like the outlining of the tree, and A$AP Rocky had an apple in his hand. Y'all remember when Adam and Eve ate from the tree? This don't look like a tree to y'all? It looked like a tree.
It does look like a tree.
He has an apple in his hand, or what looks like an apple.
You've seen the postcards, but you've never seen this. This is the forbidden footage that the authorities didn't want you to see. Climbing the Great Pyramid of Giza isn't just dangerous, it's a serious crime. Yet, one daring teenager decided to break the law and document the entire legal ascent. He exposed the ancient wonder in a way that has never been done before. Forget the safety barriers and the tour guides. This is raw, heart-pounding free solo climbing on one of the most protected structures on Earth. As he scales the massive, weathered limestone blocks, you can feel the sheer vertigo. The ground is hundreds of feet below.
This is AI,
and the wind is the only thing keeping him company. He reaches the very summit, the flat top that most people don't even know exists anymore. The view is absolutely terrifying and beautiful, looking down on the Sphinx and the city of Cairo through the haze. But this video came with a heavy price. This footage went viral, leading to a massive international investigation to find out who this kid was. It's a thrill ride that proves some secrets are buried for a reason. Would you dare to climb it?
Everybody continues to listen to this bullshit narrative from the White House on why we're going to Iran and how they've been our enemy for 47 years. And they're right. They've been our enemy for a long time. They've killed a lot of my friends. We probably shouldn't have been there to begin with, but that's not what this is about. If that's what this was about, we wouldn't be sending the Taliban $40 to $87 million in cash every week. We fought them for over 20 years. I fought them for 14. That flag came from an Afghan American, goes by the name Legend. He's the one that uncovered that on this show, brought that flag in from the Taliban burning it and Kabul, Afghanistan, so I framed it. If this was about old enemies, we wouldn't be funding one right now. Save me the bullshit on why we're there and how Iran's been our enemy for 47 years. You don't give a shit about our enemies. You're in bed with.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do this election cycle. Like, at least the Democrats, they get the Jay-Z's, they get the, the Oprahs, they get these people to go on stage for them, but they don't shit on them when they get in. You know what I mean? If they get in, they don't shit on them, right? Even if, say, a Jay-Z or whatever comes out and says whatever about Kamala, right? They're smart. They're like, it's okay. He'll calm down. He'll fall back in line. We'll make a phone call. He'll fall back in line. And next 4 years, he'll be back up here talking for me. We're not. But Trump, he's a fake news. His podcast sucks. He's a small guy. He thinks he's this. He burns his bridges, y'all. That's what he did. He went on all these podcasts. That's what got him in. He didn't get in there by himself. He got in there he went on these podcasts. That's what got him in. So I'm anxious to see. He's not running again. But is Sean Ryan going to have, let's say, JD Vance on there after what they did? I know I wouldn't. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? I'm not going to, you misled my fan base one time. I'm not going to do that again. You know what I mean? So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do this next round. Now, they're going to still have these people, the Rogans and whatnot, but Rogan's on his way down. He's on his way down. He's on a burning ship. But like these Sean Ryans, those type of people that he calls it like it is. Like, he just called him out, right? Joe Rogan will call him out a little bit, but he'll go and stand behind Trump when he's talking and signing an executive order, right? He'll shake his hand at the UFC. He won't call him out on his stuff. I'm anxious. This is a Navy SEAL, y'all. He ain't scared of Trump. He used to protect him. You know what I mean? Protect those type of people. So I'm anxious to see this next election cycle. Are they going to be able to make their rounds like that? Because he burned his bridges.
The fashion executive said the strangest thing to these women that confirms everything we've talked about with the elites doing stuff with women and children. So it was this guy named Peter Nygaard, and he started this company in 1967 called Nygaard International. This guy becomes this huge millionaire doing all this stuff for clothes, and eventually, as the time goes on, he starts having a lot of weird allegations that start coming out about this guy. Sexual allegations, bunch of weird stuff. And dude, I found the craziest video of this guy talking to these women. I don't know what it was for. It looks like they're like models or something. He's talking to them at this table, and he's basically telling them how he wants to buy their period blood, the placenta, and a bunch of these other things that are like in their body. And he specifically says the richest one is from black women.
Bro, that's insane.
I'm dead ass. And he's talking about some like, yeah, it's so rich with stem cells. I gotta show you, bro. I have to just show you the video, and I'll just let it speak for itself.
Stem cell technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. Black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. Wherever our daddy's gonna outbid me. I'd buy the book. $60,000 worth of eggs. Yeah. If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells.
What the
No, we're different from the president.
Origins of Planned Parenthood.
Discreet,
The demographics that was in.
reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win. Others are winning the whole country. 10.
Of course I was going to say that, but
Poor baby.
yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more about President Biden and some other things.
Thank you.
All right, family, we're here at Montezuma Castle. Me and
Arizona.
Brian, the Demon Racer.
Yep.
And we are looking at this, I think it was Sangora tribe cliff dwelling. There's lots of signs of destruction or something here. So I guess the real question we all have to ask is, Brian, why would anyone need to build their dwelling place that high?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Why would it be needed to be built that high up? It's almost as if they were trying to hide from something pretty tall. And if you read the old text of what they talk about, for instance, the Aztec text, when Cortez arrived here, there was a grace of giant people that would eat them. And so it was actually literally written about. And so having a castle this high up would make perfect sense as to why they were trying to make themselves harder to get to avoid whatever giants were trying to eat them.
Yeah, the only reason you would really do this is because you'd have predators on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it could be another tribe, but more than likely you're dealing with either wild beasts, or
giants.
or manly beasts.
Something intelligent, because even if you were let's say avoiding a bear.
I mean, I don't think for people they would build it that high, right? Because we don't do that now. For people, they'll build, what do they do at bases? It's all fenced off. They got armed guards in the front. They would have big fences with, guard shacks up top if that was the case. For a predator, they would build something high to get away from a predator.
Or a fox or wolf or something, you wouldn't need to be that high up. You notice in the rocks, there's actually little enclaves where there's like little hubbies and holes and stuff where they were potentially storing stuff. And like this looks like this was built after some kind of destruction. This looks like destruction limestone. And then whatever came after is like they just basically stacked rocks and used clay mud and then built these structures as some kind of protection barrier. And if you, like I said, read Cortez's content, he talks about.
But did Cortez come all the way up to Arizona?
You know, that's a really good question.
I don't
this
think
is
so.
Called Montezuma's Castle.
Yeah, and we're saying we're correlating it with Montezuma's revenge.
Well, Arizona was Mexico.
Montezuma being the king of the Aztecs when Cortez conquered them. But I do think that's really interesting that it's called Montezuma's Castle. This is clearly not a castle, but what if the stuff around it actually was? Because this looks destroyed. And yes, I agree with Brian that it's possible that somebody maybe salvaged part of it and they built their dwelling here after a post-apocalyptic time.
Yeah, something definitely destructive looking.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the show Fallout. You know, there's all kinds of weird mutant creatures and all kinds of stuff. What if that's why they built their stuff up there? You guys let us know what you think in the comments.
No, count your damn days, Dollywood, Tennessee, water tree, my ass. You think we're fucking yahoos around here?
They just painted it like a tree.
Coming into your fucking tree. Lying, son of a bitch. Talking shit. David Crockett, curse your damn soul for that.
Have you ever drawn this symbol? Do you remember the first time you saw this symbol? Do you think that it is encoded in our reality? Or do you think this is just something that we're mimicking from each other? This is called the Super S symbol. Why does everybody know this symbol right here, but nobody knows where it came from? This is just more than a doodle. They call this a memory artifact. This is a symbol embedded in our subconscious that is a clip from outside the simulation. We are at the ancient artificial intelligence or ancient AI part of the map. If you want to follow along on our map journey, the link is in the bio. You probably drew this in school or saw a classmate drawing this, but everybody says the same thing. They don't really remember where it came from. There is no confirmed creator, brand origin, or company behind it. So how do we all know this symbol? People claim that this symbol, this Super S, is actually the logo we see right before we enter the simulation. Bold statement, I know, but there are three things. It's familiar, it's symmetrical, and it feels intentional. Also, everybody can instinctively draw this symbol. Even if you've never drew this before, you could put pen to paper right now and probably draw it from memory. It is internationally known. It is a watermark from outside the system. Psychologists claim we may be just mimicking each other, but guess what? This happened before the internet. There were no memes. There was no social media, but we all instinctively know this symbol. Is this coded in our brain or is it coded in our reality? Did you see it? When did you see it? And do you believe that it is outside of our reality, outside the simulation, or this is just something that we're learning from each other? Let me know.
I was just telling my girl this morning, we were watching Bluey with my young one, and, you know, they were playing, you know, keeping the balloon in the air. And I was just saying, it's so crazy how we're connected, all cultures. Like as when we're young, we play the same type of games, right? We're all connected. Like I was burping my son last night, and I was like, who was the one that found out you need to burp them? Everyone, all over the world, even non-contact tribes burp their young ones, feed their young ones, right? Like these are things that have just been passed down, even down to the little games, hide and seek, tag, playing with the balloon in the air. You know, all these little things, like we're just all connected, all cultures from all over the world. We're connected. It's such a trip. Like when I'm sitting there at 3 a.m, half asleep, burping them, I was thinking like, damn, like there's uncontacted tribes out there that in the Amazon or whatever, and they're burping their young one, right? So they can sleep good, you know, so they don't get the colic or whatever. It's just a trip.
It's been made pretty clear to me that we're not dealing with one non-human intelligent life, that we're dealing with multiple forms of intelligent life from multiple origins, and essentially the universe is full of life. So extraterrestrials, I think all things are on the table. I think it could be extraterrestrials. Interdimensional beings could be one of the other possibilities. There's also the possibility of other intelligent life that's been here all along and that Earth has been the home for since the beginning.
Human time travelers?
I guess it'd be foolish at this point to take anything off the table.
Y'all, at this point, I'm just convinced this world is just one big movie and somebody's watching. Because, baby, listen. So I just watched this newscaster. She said she presenting a beautiful story. And she go on to say that somebody threw 200 kidneys in a duffel bag in front of the hospital. The doctor come on and say they received a beautiful gift
for that.
of 200 kidneys. And he was like, and they was fresh. They had to got them within the last 24 hours. Baby, it's a whole crime scene inside that duffel bag. Because, baby, look, we got 2 kidneys in our body. So that's 100 people. Where are these 100 dead bodies at? Where are these people at? How is this story amazing when it's 100 people out there gotta be missing without no kidneys? Where is the beauty in that? And they talking about this is an amazing, beautiful story. How? That y'all just got 200 anonymous kidneys dropped off at a hospital door that y'all claim were fresh. Where is the rest of the body? And then the doctor go on to say, mention something about the brains, the lungs, and the heart. I guess he's trying to say they need that too, so drop it off at the door. Man, what? We in a movie, y'all. We are in a movie.
If that's in your hometown, let me know down below. Because I would like to find those news clips and see if that's really what they really dropped off and the news spun it off as a good Samaritan, an angel gave us these. Now we're going to save all these lives. That's where I say, if that's the case, that's where I say the masses are asleep. They can get. Imagine if you or me saw that on the news. Like, wait, what? A random person dropped off 200 kidneys? Like, I'd be sitting next to a family member and they'll be like, they wouldn't even think nothing of it. Until I say, where did they get those kidneys from? Where's the people that, and they'd be like, I didn't even think of that. Right? That's how asleep the masses are, y'all. That's why I'm saying, like, until those people that I didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about that. Until those people wake up, they're going to keep getting away with what they're getting away with. But we're doing the work. We're doing the work, trying to wake people up.
Somebody was just caught buying baby food from supermarkets and then putting rat poison inside of the jars and then putting it back on the shelf. And they did it across 3 different countries. So police just officially arrested a 39-year-old man who was walking in the grocery stores buying jars of baby food off of the shelf and then filling them with rat poison.
In Austria are warning parents to stay alert after a jar of baby food was found contaminated with rat poison.
And then he returned the jars to the exact same shelf so that parents would end up buying it. 5 different confirmed poisoned jars were found across multiple different stores before anybody could consume them, which is obviously great. And the reason why all of this is happening is because the guy sent the baby food company a blackmail email demanding 2 million euros in cryptocurrency. And he told them within the email that if they did not pay within 6 days, he would start poisoning their products on store shelves. They obviously didn't pay, and he actually followed through. The brand is called Hip, and it's actually the #1 baby food brand in all of Europe. They have now recalled every single thing across Austria, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. A customer was able to spot a jar that looked a little bit weird, and they found it before any babies were hurt, but this guy was fully ready for it to happen, and they just caught him yesterday.
I said, what happened in World Trade Center? And she said, a plane flew into it. And I naively said, you know, that happened once before. In 1932, a bomber flew into the Empire State Building, but it was really foggy then. It's so crystal clear today. Like, how can you not see that you're flying into the World Trade Center? And just as I said those words, the second plane hit. And then she turned to me. I was standing behind her. She turned to me and she said, did you see that, or did I imagine it? And I ran back to my office and I said, guys, 2 planes just hit both towers of the World Trade Center. I think we're under attack.
I mean, in that moment, we all knew we were under attack, right? Crazy time that was. Anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You made it this far. Y'all know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Big things coming up, y'all, but keep it on the low key. I'm going to keep this one on the low key, but I'm going to still be here 4 days a week for you guys. I need to get started on my second channel. I know I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. I'm trying to get that one going because I know once we do, it's just gonna go. I got a good formula for over there, and I think you guys are gonna love it. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate my members, y'all. I appreciate all you guys that have joined. If you guys are interested, my latest upload is gonna be popping up over here. If you ain't, go down that rabbit hole over there. This is Segovia, signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Later.